Hello everyone, and welcome to today's lesson on population growth and its influencing factors. We'll look at biological and ecological drivers that influence how populations grow or decline over time. Let's begin with the basics. Population dynamics refers to the study of how and why populations change in size and structure over time. It's a central topic in ecology and conservation biology. Population density is a measure of how crowded a population is. It's calculated by dividing the number of individuals by the area. Think about it, 500 deer in a small forest versus 500 in a vast national park. The impact on resources, breeding, and disease spread will differ drastically. Now, let's look at the core factors that influence population growth. We can group these factors into biological, density-dependent, density-independent, and human-induced categories. Let's explore them one by one. First, let's talk about biological factors, specifically birth rate and mortality rate. Birth rate, or natality, is the number of young produced per female per unit time, typically per year. For example, rabbits have high natality, contributing to rapid population increases. On the other hand, mortality rate is the percentage of individuals that die per 1,000 in a year. When the birth rate is greater than the mortality rate, the population grows. When the mortality rate is greater than the birth rate, population declines. Understanding this balance is critical for managing wildlife, agriculture, and even human populations. Another key biological process is migration. Immigration is the movement into a population, increasing its size. For instance, birds migrating to warmer regions during winter. Emigration is the movement out of a population, which can decrease its size. An example, animals fleeing wildfires or droughts. Migration impacts gene flow, biodiversity, and resource competition, key ecological dynamics. Now we shift to density-dependent factors. These intensify as population density increases. Let's start with two major ones. Food availability. In dense populations, individuals compete for the same limited resources. Lack of food leads to malnutrition, reduced fertility, and eventually higher death rates. For example, locust swarms rapidly deplete vegetation, collapsing their own population. Disease. Crowded populations make it easier for diseases to spread. Think of viral outbreaks in urban slums or even poultry farms. High density means faster transmission. Continuing with density-dependent factors, space, limited nesting sites, or shelter can hinder reproduction. For instance, sea turtles compete for the same beach areas to lay eggs. Predation. A dense population may attract more predators. In a dense rodent population, owls and snakes may thrive. Competition. As population density grows, organisms compete more for food, mates, and territory. This often leads to stress, fewer offspring, and sometimes conflict-induced death. These factors act like natural checks to prevent overpopulation. Unlike the previous ones, density-independent factors impact populations regardless of how large or dense they are. Natural disasters such as floods, fires, earthquakes, or volcanic eruptions can decimate entire populations overnight. For example, the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami caused dramatic losses in human and animal populations alike. Weather events, droughts, blizzards, or heat waves can cause mass die-offs. These events don't discriminate based on population size. They're purely environmental in nature. Finally, let's examine human-induced factors. Habitat destruction, deforestation, pollution, and urban expansion reduce habitats. This impacts species like orangutans, who lose not only food sources but safe breeding grounds. Introduction of new species. Invasive species like the Nile perch in Lake Victoria or water hyacinth in Ugandan waters outcompete native species for resources, sometimes causing extinction. Human activities are among the most potent modern factors shaping population dynamics, often with irreversible effects. To wrap up, biological factors drive growth or decline through birth, death, and migration. Density-dependent factors like food, space, and disease act as natural regulators. Density-independent factors remind us how vulnerable populations are to sudden change. And human activities continue to alter ecosystems in complex, often harmful ways. Understanding these factors is key for conservation, urban planning, agriculture, and global health. If you found this helpful, like and subscribe for more biology insights, and drop your